Hello there. Today I read an article about how the Liberal government, in the throne speech, the Liberals mentioned a bunch of stuff. I don't normally talk about the throne speech because it seems like a lot of promises that we're just not sure if they're going to follow through on. So normally I'm like, oh, whatever, throne speech, some empty promises. But this one in particular is interesting to me, that they are talking about having the CRA file tax returns automatically for free. I think this is a great idea, especially like for the people. So apparently like 12% of adults just don't file a tax return, which are mostly people who don't think that they need to because they don't owe the government any money, which technically they don't. But the benefits that the CRA administers, or that Service Canada, it's like the CRA, it's like based on the information that the CRA has, but it's administered by Service Canada. It's all tied to your tax return. So like if you don't file a tax return, you don't get the child tax benefit or GST credits or GST benefits or like any of that. None of that is paid out to you unless you file a tax return. And so that's fine for the people who are able to do that. But there are some people that aren't able to do their own taxes. They're not able to necessarily pay for someone to do it. And there are people that just don't bother. Like it's just not something that's easy for them, and like they just can't do it. So usually these are the lower income people that aren't filing tax returns, and so these people are missing out on the benefits that they are entitled to because they're tied to whether or not they file a tax return with the CRA. So I love this idea that if the CRA has all of the information on file for you already, they should be doing our taxes. And I would think that it would be beneficial to just like if the CRA just did everybody's taxes as a baseline, and then you as an individual, you know your situation, you know if you had a business, you know if you had investments or other deductions like childcare expenses or whatever, then you could file a tax return and it would be more like an adjustment. It would be more like, here's what actually happened. But the baseline for everyone is just the information that's on file with the CRA gets filed every year. Like they say this is the tax return that you have for the year. I think that would be really excellent. And tax preparers like myself wouldn't have to do the really simple like single T4 tax returns. I would love to not do those anymore. They're not super interesting, and there are times when you don't actually make any money on them. So I would rather be doing the more interesting, more complicated ones that the CRA wouldn't be able to file automatically anyways. So yeah, I think this is a really good idea. I hope that they're able to do this. And they're saying that this really ties into some of the other objectives that they're trying to achieve, like raising people out of poverty and combating the homeless problem. And by filing some of these tax returns, they're able to provide the benefits for people who are, the low income, maybe they're homeless or they're definitely living below the poverty line. So hopefully this is a thing that happens. Right now, they do have a file my return option. So you can actually call the CRA if you're a low income individual or family, and you can file your tax return for free on the phone with the CRA agent. That's not super widely known because generally the CRA was reaching out to people individually to say, hey, you qualify for this program. The problem is that when the CRA is reaching out to low income individuals, it's usually not a good thing. So normally they just ignore them because they don't want to deal with it. They don't want to talk to the CRA, which I get. I wouldn't want to talk to them either if the only time they called me was for negative reasons. So when they're calling them and reaching out to say, hey, we can actually help you, that's largely going ignored. So automatic free filing would be excellent. I am hugely in favor of this. Let me know what your thoughts are on this in the comments, and yeah, I'd love to chat more about it because I'm sure there are lots of points of view and I'm sure I've missed some of them. So yeah, let me know. Let's chat about it. I hope you're doing well, and I'll see you tomorrow.